Hello friends, have you ever wondered who really controls the internet? Is it the governments of the world imposing rules and regulations? Or perhaps tech giants like Google, Facebook and Amazon, who dominate the digital space? Maybe it's those behind-the-scenes internet service providers, the companies that connect us to the web. The truth, however, is more complicated and more fascinating than you might think. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the infrastructure of the internet to uncover the reality behind this question. By the end of this video, you'll not only have a clear understanding of who or what controls the internet, but you'll also see how you too are a part of it. Let's begin by acknowledging an undeniable fact. The internet is everywhere. It's hard to imagine life without it, whether we're streaming our favorite movies, ordering food, shopping online, working remotely, or running entire businesses. The internet has become an essential part of our daily lives. Despite this, most people don't fully understand how it works or who's in charge. Many assume that governments have absolute control, regulating and monitoring everything that happens online. Others believe that tech giants like Google, Apple, Amazon and Microsoft hold all the power, since their platforms dominate the digital world. But is that really the case? To answer this question, we need to look at the very foundation of the internet itself. The first thing to understand is that the internet is not controlled by a single entity. Unlike a company with a CEO who makes all the decisions, or a government that enforces national laws, the internet is structured as a decentralized network. This means no single person, corporation or government has complete control over it. Instead, it operates as a vast interconnected system, one that is sustained by the cooperation of millions of different entities worldwide. If this sounds a little complex, don't worry, I'll break it down. Imagine the internet as a massive spiderweb that stretches across the entire planet. Billions of devices, computers, smartphones, servers, and more, are all connected within this web. But who owns this web? The answer is, no one. Rather than belonging to a single organization, the internet functions through the collaboration of multiple key players. Internet service providers, ISPs, are responsible for the physical infrastructure that allows us to connect to the web. They lay the cables, build the satellites, and maintain the networks that allow data to flow between our devices. Governments, meanwhile, set regulations that control aspects like data privacy, online censorship, and cybersecurity. Then, there are tech companies, which create the platforms and services that we use every day: search engines, social media, e-commerce websites, and more. However, despite the influence these organizations have, none of them can control the internet in its entirety. That's the beauty of its decentralized design. Even if one part of the system fails or is restricted, the rest continues to function. One of the most important organizations involved in the internet's operation is ICANN, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. If you've never heard of ICANN before, don't worry. It works behind the scenes, but it plays a crucial role in keeping the internet organized. ICANN is a non-profit organization that manages domain names and IP addresses, which are the unique identifiers that allow websites and devices to communicate with one another. You can think of ICANN as the phone book of the internet. When you type google.com into your browser, your request is processed through a system that finds the correct IP address for Google's servers and directs you there, all in a fraction of a second. Without ICANN's coordination, the internet wouldn't function as smoothly as it does. But here's an important point. ICANN doesn't control the internet. It simply ensures that everything runs efficiently by managing these technical details. Now let's take a closer look at the physical infrastructure of the internet. Because while the internet may seem like an invisible digital space, it actually relies on a vast network of physical systems to function. The core components of this infrastructure include IP addresses, which serve as the unique digital home addresses of devices on the internet, DNS servers, which act like translators, converting human-friendly domain names, such as youtube.com, into numerical IP addresses that computers can understand, and physical infrastructure, which consists of undersea cables, data centers, and satellite networks that make global connectivity possible. Here's a simple example. When you enter youtube.com in your browser, your request is sent to a DNS server, which finds the correct IP address associated with YouTube. That IP address then directs your browser to the appropriate servers, where YouTube's content is stored. This all happens in milliseconds, allowing you to watch videos instantly. But what makes this system fascinating is that no single entity owns or controls all of it. Instead, different organizations, companies, and even governments are responsible for managing different parts of the internet's infrastructure. At this point, you might be wondering, if no one owns the internet, why do some governments have the power to block websites or censor content? The answer lies in their ability to control internet access within their borders. While they can't shut down the entire global internet, they can impose restrictions on how their citizens access it. A well-known example is China's Great Firewall, which blocks platforms like Google, Facebook, and Twitter. Other countries also regulate internet access based on political, cultural, or legal considerations. However, these restrictions are often bypassable using VPNs or virtual private networks, which allow users to reroute their internet traffic through servers in other countries, effectively bypassing censorship. So while governments can exert local influence over the internet, they cannot control it on a global scale. Here's the exciting part. You don't need to be a tech giant or a government official to participate in shaping the internet. In fact, anyone can own a piece of the internet simply by building a website. All it takes is registering a domain name such as yourname.com, choosing a web hosting service, and learning some basic web development skills. By doing this, you're actively contributing to the decentralized structure of the internet, adding your own unique space to the web. So, when we ask who controls the internet, the answer is clear: no one and everyone. The decentralized nature of the internet ensures that no single entity holds absolute power over it. ICANN helps keep the system organized, governments enforce local regulations, and tech companies build platforms. But ultimately, the internet remains a shared global resource that belongs to all of us, and that includes you. So why not take your first step today by learning how to create your own website? After all, the internet isn't just something we use, it's something we all help shape. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating topics like this one. See you in the next video.